As you can tell from the title, yes, this is going to be another Arc 3.0 video specifically focusing on the Titan. I swear every season, the Heart of Inmost Light is always coming in clutch for PvE activities, and in this video specifically, I wanted to pair this with the changes that happen with the Arc 3.0 Titan and something cool you can do with us having the Storm Grenade available now on the Titan. So first, let's go over the exotic. Again, it's the Heart of Inmost Light. This is a Titan exotic chest piece. Its perk, Overflowing Light, using an ability, whether it's your grenade, melee, or barricade, empowers the other two abilities. Empowered means abilities have faster regen, melees, and grenades do more damage, and barricades have more hit points. Pretty much, the other two abilities that you use, the third one will have extra damage. It's kind of like a chaining thing almost, but pretty much, if I use my melee, my barricade, my grenade is going to get more damage, which is kind of what this build is going to be based on. Let's go over what I'm using in the subclass. So super wise, I'm going to be using Thunder Crash because PvE Thunder Crash is king right now, as we all know. Class ability wise, it really doesn't matter. If you want to use the Rally or Towering Barricade, go for it. If you want to use Thruster, go for it. All of them have very similar cooldown. Barricade, the Towering one is 40, the Rally's 32, and the Thruster's 30. Whichever one I want to use, doesn't really matter. Movement-wise, doesn't matter. Melee, honestly, it doesn't matter. I just like Thunderclap because as long as I'm there near an enemy, I can just launch it and be done with it versus the Shoulder Charge, which is the Seismic Strike, and the Ballistic Slam. I have to, like, you know, run a little bit, get this charge up, and then slam. I'd rather just, like, eat it really fast and just be done with it. Or if I want to charge it for that extra damage, I can do that as well. So the grenade we're going to be rocking is obviously the Storm Grenade. Now that, you know, every Arc 3.0 class has access to every single grenade, we're going to be rocking the Storm. And the reason being is because the new aspect, which is Touch of Thunder, gives bonuses to certain grenades. Just like with Touch of Flame on the Solar subclass for Warlock, which gave bonuses to the Solar grenades, Titan has the same thing here. And for the Storm Grenade in particular, after detonating, it creates a roaming thundercloud that tracks nearby targets and fires bolts of lightning at foes beneath it. So again, the Storm Grenade jolts and finds targets, which is very nice. The other aspect we're going to be using is Knockout. Again, critically wounding a target or breaking their shield infuses your melee attacks with arc energy and increases your melee range and damage for a short time. Targets defeated with melee attacks starts health regeneration and makes you amplified. Amplified is going to be, you know, very good in PvE. I think we all know this by now. Fragment wise, this is what I'm using. I'm using Spark of Resistance. While you're surrounded by combatants, you are more resistance to incoming damage. Again, that's always a good thing. Next, Spark of Magnitude. Your lingering arc grenades, Lightning, Pulse, and Storm have an extended duration, so our Storm Grenade will last longer. Next one's going to be pretty good. Spark of Amplitude. Rapidly defeating targets while you are amplified creates an orb of power. Again, since we're going to have our abilities often, we're going to be amplified a lot, we might as well have that extra orb creation to get supers and synergize with other mods on our armor, which I'll be going over here in a minute. But last one is Spark of Ions. Defeating a jolted target creates an ionic trace. This one's kind of interchangeable. You can use whatever you want. Honestly, I would recommend the first three, though. The reason I'm using Spark of Ions is because if the grenade is automatically going to jolt targets, I might as well create those ionic traces to get my abilities back even faster. Again, like I said, you can probably switch this last one out for any of them that you would wish. Doesn't really matter, but the first three, Resistance, Magnitude, and Amplitude, I would highly recommend. Let's talk about the armor mods that I'm using now. So just note, you could put these armor mods in any armor slot that you want. This is just how it worked out for me. And I'm also going to be talking about some substitutes here once I cover these. So first up on the helmet, main thing to note is that I'm using Elemental Ordnance. Defeating a combatant with a grenade spawns an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type. And I'm also using Harmonic Siphon. Rapid weapon final blows with damage matching your subclass type create an orb of power. So if we're using arc weapons, we're going to be creating more orbs on top of Spark of Amplitude. And then I'm also rocking Ashes to Assets. Since this whole thing is focused around the grenade, I might as well get my super energy back even faster by getting kills with the grenade. For my gauntlets, main things to note is Elemental Charge. Become Charge of Light by picking up an Elemental Well. If the Elemental Well matches your subclass energy type, you gain 2 stacks of Charge of Light instead of 1. And then also I'm rocking Bolstering Detonation and Focusing Strike. Pretty much, I get class ability energy when I get hits with my melee or my grenade, so I'm going to be able to get that, you know, the thruster or the barricade back even faster, which again synchronizes with the Heart of Inmost Light. On the chest piece, I am using Font of Might. For this one, you can probably switch this one out for something else, but pretty much picking up an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type grants a temporary bonus to weapon damage of that same elemental type. So arc weapons are going to get bonus damage. On the boots, I'm rocking Firepower. While charged with light, regain a portion of your grenade energy when you use your grenade, consuming 1 stack of charge of light. So again, we're going to get our grenade energy back whenever we toss it. And then I'm rocking 2 Innervation. That's what it's called. I almost messed that one up because English. But reduces your grenade cooldown each time you pick up an orb because, again, focusing on grenade. Now for the class item, I am rocking Bomber, which reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability. So whenever I use the thruster or the barricade, I do get cooldown on my grenade. But the main thing to note here is the artifact mod, which is lightning strikes twice. After throwing an arc grenade, gain increased grenade recharge for a short time. Arc final blows extend the duration of this benefit. So it can be arc ability or arc weapon final blows, which allows you to get that grenade even faster. Now, since lightning strikes twice is an artifact mod, it's only going to be around for this season. It's not guaranteed to come back next season or the next couple of seasons, so you got to keep that in mind as well. So after the season's over and you're watching this video, you're like, David, I can't use this mod. What else can I do? What else can I look into using? Now, personally, there really isn't a lot of charge of light mods you can look into using that focus on the grenade and getting it back faster. But if you wanted to strictly go with Elemental Well, you could focus on that a little more. So if you want to do something with, Elemental Ordnance, it's something we're already rocking. Other mods to look into is, something like Melee Well Maker. Since we're going to have our melee fairly often as well with Heart of Inmost Light, you're going to be able to create that arc Elemental Well and be able to collect that. And if you wanted, more melee, again, you could do Well Striking. When you pick up an arc Elemental Well, grants you additional melee energy. Again, that just kind of synchronizes with the whole class. Another good one to look into is Bountiful Wells. Again, whenever you create one Elemental Well, it's going to create another one. So pretty much you're going to spawn 2 Arc Elemental Wells. You collect those. Guess what? You're getting energy for your abilities. Again, there's a couple things you could do. If you wanted to pair something like Elemental Time Dilation with something like Font of Might and Font of Wisdom, again, Font of Might being the extra arc weapon damage, that timer gets extended, and then Font of Wisdom pretty much brings your intellect from whatever it is to 100 for a certain amount of time, and that being, lasted longer, which means you're going to get your Thunder Crash even faster. Again, there are a couple options here to look into, something, if you wanted to test something out, but the build that I talked about is something that just worked out for me very well. Now, the stats you should focus on, obviously, grenade, because we want to get that grenade back as quickly as possible. I'm rocking 100 discipline here, which gives my grenade cooldown 40 seconds. With everything else, I'm going to get it back faster. And I'm also rocking 100 resilience for that 40% damage reduction. Resilience is king in something like PVE, so I'd highly recommend making your resilience 100 as well if you can. Let's talk about some weapon options. So, again, this is a grenade build, so you could look into using weapons with Demolitionist. Again, kills with the weapon generate grenade energy. Activating your grenade ability reloads the weapon from reserves. Again, that can always be fairly helpful. And then also creating ionic traces and also jolting targets. Again, one of the fragments that I'm using is Spark of Ions. Defeating a jolted target creates an ionic trace. Ionic traces grant you ability energy, so keep that in mind. So one of two options here. Number one, Delicate Tomb. I know I've talked about this one a lot for Arc 3.0 builds, but it just works out very well, especially when you collect an ionic trace and then you're actually able to jolt targets with this weapon. Again, it's very easy. With Font of Might, you're going to have extra damage for arc weapons. This thing is not too shabby in something like PvE. I understand I'm not rocking Spark of Beacons. Again, you could rock Spark of Beacons. Again, when you are amplified, you're able to blind targets with arc special weapons, but with this one you can blind them and jolt them at the same time, which is nice. And then the other thing you can look into is weapons with Bolt Shot. Now, the sidearm from the Season Pass comes with it automatically, so you don't have to go like searching around, but there's also a scout rifle that I have that comes with it. But pretty much, reloading this weapon after defeating a target overcharges this weapon for a short period of time, causing it to jolt on its next hit. So again, if we're going to be jolting targets, we can also use Spark of Ions, creates an ionic trace, get abilities back faster. Again, you have some options there. If you didn't want to do any of that, I think that's perfectly fine. You're going to get your abilities back fairly quickly anyway. If you're not casting this synergy, a lot of it is about ability spam. You're going to be using your class item, your melee, and your grenade a lot. The grenade is going to be the main focus of this, obviously, and we're going to want to get that back as quickly as possible and also make it powerful by using our other two abilities. So again, let's talk about the armor mods first. I'll just kind of go over that. So with Elemental Ordnance, we're going to get a grenade kill. That's going to spawn an Arc Elemental Well. We pick that up. We're going to get Charge of Light ×2. Our weapons are going to have extra damage because of Font of Might. And then once we throw the grenade, Firepower is going to give us a portion of our grenade energy back. And then with Lightning Strikes Twice from the Artifact mod, any arc ability or weapon kills we get is going to increase the recharge rate of our arc grenade. On top of all that, with Harmonic Siphon, we are creating Orbs of Power from arc weapons. With Spark of Amplitude on the Arc 3.0 subclass, we are creating Orbs of Power by rapidly defeating targets while we're amplified, which again, we're going to get amplified pretty easily. With Ashes to Assets, grenade kills are going to give us our super back even faster. And then on top of that, all the orbs we pick up from Innervation gives us grenade energy, and then whenever we use our class ability, Bomber kicks in, we get grenade energy again. So we're going to be able to have our grenade a lot, our melee a lot, and our class ability a lot. The weapons that allow us to create ionic traces or jolt targets will help out as well. And honestly, that's about it. Once you start going with the abilities, everything is just going to kick in. It's going to synergize. You're going to be bullying PvE targets. Plus, with the Storm Grenade, it's going to be extra strong if you use the melee and the class ability beforehand. Again, that's kind of the focus of it because Storm Grenade is already fairly powerful. But with this, it's going to be a roaming, like supercharged Storm Grenade. That is the whole concept of the build. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my Arc 3.0 Heart of Inmost Light Storm Grenade build for the Titan. This thing is absolutely disgusting, and I hope you guys enjoy it in PvE activities. Honestly, I'm just having a great time with it, but we also got some more build videos on the way that I'm hoping to get out soon for you guys. But in any event, guys, if you like what you saw, again, you can always drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then turn that bell next to notifications so you don't miss out on another one of these videos. If you guys didn't know, we are streaming 3 times a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, here on YouTube. We are no longer on Twitch. We're here on YouTube. Everything is in one spot. We have our streaming content, our long form content, and the YouTube shorts, short form content all in one place for you guys. Majority of the time during those streams, we are doing dungeon and King's Fall carry. So whatever the dungeon is for that week, that is the pinnacle reward. I'm typically running people through the dungeon that haven't completed it and haven't even had the opportunity to get through the dungeon yet. And then also we're doing King's Fall carries and help for people who need a carry or people who haven't even done the King's Fall raid yet. We've done plenty of carries. Again, you can see that on the YouTube channel. We've carried plenty of people through it. If you need help, we can do that. The main thing that you're going to need to do is join my Discord. That link is in the description. That's going to be the best way for us to communicate. That's going to be the best way for me to get you in the queue so I know who is hopping in for the dungeon or the raid. Lastly, if you guys didn't know, we hit YouTube Partner recently, which is just freaking awesome, but that also gives us access to channel memberships. If you don't know what a membership is, it's pretty much like a Twitch sub. Again, that's up to you if you want to join it, but if you do, you do get access to emotes for live streams, member badges, the member monthly badges, and all that great jazz, and there's some other benefits in there as well. Again, you don't have to, but if you do want to support me, that is an extra option. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the video. Hope to catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.